All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Boxing Rush Hour Show, fightsatw.com, fights around the world. I have a special guest today. She is 4-0, 1 KO. She's ranked number three in the WBO, number six in WBA, and maybe in other sanctioning bodies here shortly when they publish it. She fights for CES Boxing under the OG Jimmy Birchfield Sr. I can only be talking about one person, and that's Amelia Moore. How you doing?
Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. All right, listen, before we get into anything, who is Amelia Moore? So basically, what was life like before turning pro in November 2024 for you?
Yeah, for sure. I had a really long amateur career, three Olympic cycles with Team USA. I'm an Olympic alternate for the 2020 games, a multi-time international medalist. I jokingly say I punched people in the face all around the world. Had like an amazing experience. You get to fight in the best venues, the worst venues. It can be 95 degrees and 85% humidity in an outside venue in South America, and it's just you get to see some of the best talent and really get pushed. So, it's just been a journey, right? Like pursuing the dream, and my thought process behind all of it was just like I've always just wanted to be undeniable in everything that I've ever done. You want to be, what else are we here for? It's a blink in the universe. Like let's gain all the experience, and I don't want to be on my deathbed someday and be like, the whole thing was a ruse, like it just, I want to be, I always want to just have the full experience and be as real as possible. I don't know. I don't know. Some people are okay skating by, but like that sounds boring to me. Fully jump in, both feet. So yeah. And then when I left Team USA, I ended up actually doing a season with TBL, Team Boxing League. So I was in season two, took Rookie of the Year, went 10-0, and fought a bunch of talent. They're growing. Season three, I did the opener. We had a wild season opener and then actually started commentary for them. So I'm back on the road behind the mic again this year with TBL after just winning the WBA title at lightweight. So I got a couple different things going on. I'm also a advanced EMT, IV certified and sports nutritionist. So a lot of people just stay in one lane. I've got a lot of facets. I think they all need to shine. So yeah, ask me anything.
Yeah. All right. Listen, you've had four fights in 2 years, right?
Yes.
What have been some of the challenges in trying to get fights for you?
It hasn't really been a challenge to get fights. I got injured last year. I think
Mm,
that's like the crazy thing. I took a headbutt, cracked my nose, and then had to go back in for another fight for it with T Team Boxing League in their opener. Took a straight jab, it just shattered. I won both the rounds, but it was just like, the highlights on that fight were they used them all year. It was epic. I've got blood running down my face. I looked like I had war paint on, and it was my own blood. And it I had to get closed reduction surgery. I went to the ER. They did a CT scan. The doctor looked at it before he did the CT scan. He goes, "No, I don't think it's broken." He literally like rolled back into the room and was like, "Skirt," and he was like, "I have never been so wrong. It's broken in five places." So yeah, I friggin' had a hell of a injury last year. And it was like, there was that moment of like, should we rush it back or should we just let this heal? And I think that I just took the time. I had over 100 amateur fights. How many times that I've been headbutted, had weird collisions. I think that when you have that much mileage, things could happen, right? And it was bound to happen. And I had rather have it happen then than happen in a championship world title fight, and have it go and just have it be hell. And so, yeah, people are like, man, four fights in 2 years, that's slow. But things happen for a reason. If that didn't happen, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to get behind the mic and kind of move into a journalist role also. And man, I've had such an awesome time helping the athletes have a voice because I haven't had one for so long. We all go through that struggle, right? And it's fun. Like I know everybody. I know so many of the athletes. I've seen some of them are coming up that were in the JOs and I was their elite squad, and I had some other athletes that have been previous world title holders, and it's like I'm getting mentored by them. But at the same time we're helping each other, before the camera comes on, I'm like, all right, they're about to cue us. This is what I want to ask you. Like, and just like things that never happen for me that when you get put in front of the camera, it's like you didn't get the opportunity to capitalize. So yeah, long-windedly, it sucked to get the injury last year, but I swear everything happens for a reason. And I've had the opportunity to watch more fights than I've ever watched and travel around in a different respect. And I feel like my IQ has just grown even more. So, and then, move into this year, I had the return fight in October, no injuries, and wasn't really the performance I wanted, but, still dropped my opponent in the fifth round. It went all 6 rounds, unanimous decision, won every single round, and then had the fight here in November. And excuse me, we were supposed to fight in November, Bonnie Hunter and I, and then it was postponed until just this past March 28th. And I was really happy with that. I there's so many fights that happen and it's like everybody has excuses. They're like, oh, the fight got stopped early, and they feel like the ref stopped it early. Oh, it was a last minute call. They didn't have time to prepare, blah, 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 blah. Bonnie, number 2 in Canada, she had a previous world title opportunity or an interim opportunity with Jessica Carrera Jacobra, and it was a close fight. And it's like, Bonnie and I both traveled. She had 5 months to prepare. I want, it's what I wanted. I wanted to go into a fight, be completely friggin' dominant, dismantle somebody that had a ton of experience and had more experience technically than I did. And that's where you move forward. You really show how dangerous you are as an athlete because there's no, I don't want any favors. I want to be in there and be like, dude, it doesn't matter what you think you have. I'm gonna dismantle you because I'm friggin' talented and I have so much experience and I don't need a weird, schemy edge. So unfortunately, and like I've had people be like, oh, you shouldn't say anything, because people try to take advantage of that. But listen, I broke my hand in the fight. I broke my hand in the 7th round. I finished the fight with my lead hand only, and I still was dominant. I still won the round. Like it was one of my best rounds, I think, because it was my volume went up. And it goes to show that I think there's that other aspect in the back of the athlete mind that's like, what happens when I get in deep water? I've already been there. I've been there in so many regards. And it's like, I am very fortunate that whatever the fibers that make up the tensile strength of my soul, I run towards danger and I can think clearly and I just really sit into the foundation of my training. And that's, that's where it really separates seasoned athletes from athletes that are just kind of out there. I don't know. Some people think they're doing this, and I always tell people whatever you know about boxing, you don't. Because this is not that. This is not the Mayweather flash. This is not, the money and the fame and the girls and the blah blah blah. Like, but that's not boxing. It's not. Boxing will completely like tear you down and show exactly what you're made of. And most of us aren't made of very much. But then again, too, you meet some people that are really hard people, and love the sport and have sacrificed everything. And in those moments, that's when you see real champions.
Yeah. Now, you said a lot there, right? But I
Yeah,
want
my
to
bad.
go. No, 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 no. I'm kidding
Cut me
though.
off at any time. Get me off the sermon.
No, no, no. But I want to go back to one thing that you stated there. When you broke your nose, right? There had to have been a point somewhere in there, whether big or small, that you did you did you have a thought of maybe not wanting to continue to fight, because you had, such a serious injury, or was it always, or how did you like tell yourself, hey, you know what, I'm gonna keep going, and this is what I want to do. How was that? Was it a mental tug of war, or did you not even have that come into your mind?
Yeah, not at all, actually. I felt it initially crack. My right eye flashed. I knew it was a break. And when I took when I actually took the punch that shattered it, I mean, it just felt like glass just shattered in my face. And I instantly, like I felt my guard just tighten and went through my brain was, don't lose the round, don't let them know you're hurt. And that like verbatim went through my mind, don't lose the round, don't let them know you're hurt. And and it was just all of a sudden my body just like snapped into a new gear, and it was just like boom, boom, boom. Like, I mean, the head movement, everything just, I moved into this flow state that was really cool because I mean, and I forget what the girl's name. Have you ever seen Ozark? What the
Yeah,
heck's
yeah.
the one with the girl with the blonde
With the
hair?
long hair, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if we're allowed to swear, but it's like inside of me, it's like her voice just coming. It's like you're gonna have to fucking kill me. Like it there's this piece inside of me that really is just it's unbreakable. And I've been through so much that I feel fortunate. Some people get so caught up in their past and they're like, oh, I had it hard, through the mud and the trenches, blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, bro, how fortunate are you? How fortunate are you to be able to have that? Because there are people that break a high heel and it's their worst day. Daddy didn't give me money. Well, I didn't have a daddy. That's just like, and I don't have any issues from that. I embrace the fact that things were tough and God, you have to be resilient. And I had so many beautiful mentors come into my life. And I think that there's these little like I talk about tinsel strength, really what are the fibers of your soul? And um I always say like when I say my goals, I can't go back on them because then I've lied to all these people. And so something about that, it's like really walking in your truth, not a moment. I don't ever hesitate. And I know this to be true in myself because everything that I've done, I've followed through with. I trust myself unconditionally. I've never lied to myself, not once. Not once. Like that's, I mean, I look, how many times have we looked in the mirror and looked ourselves in the eye? It's seriously like we brush our teeth in the morning at night, but how many times you really look at your own eyes and be like, hey, how are you? Hey, Amelia. It's you got to have those moments. You really have to have that and know who you are. And so when you get into those really gritty moments, you're not like, maybe this isn't for me. It's like, no, I asked for this, like so you better show out and show up.
Yeah, no, for sure. Um, all right. You had touched on your last fight, and I was going to ask you about the Bonnie Hunter fight. I know you said unanimous decision. What did you get out of that fight, experience wise?
Yeah. So I wasn't really pleased with my performance. I was still dominant with my performance in October. And like I said, I won every round, but I wasn't, so there was a disconnect. There was like, every now and then it's a win's a win, true, but I'm never satisfied. Like even when I've medaled in the amateurs and I'm like, it's been very rare where I've walked out of that and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what I want people to see. Like, because I know that's what I'm capable of. And when I really changed a few things. I brought on a couple new people into my camp, and I was really pleased. Like my coach, when we went into the third, at the end of the third, my coach was looking at me and she said, "Are you okay? Like you're not even breathing hard." And my tempo was high, but my conditioning, the weight cut, like everything that we worked on was what it needed to be. And I think that my mind was so quiet. There wasn't any like frazzle. The warm up went according to plan. It's just, and I'm such a simple person. Like I don't go out and eat. I carry a hot top with me and I cook in my own room. I really do everything very precisely and meticulously because like I said, like I'm not here to play around. Like I want to do this the best of my ability. I'm utilizing a lot of people's time and I'm going to put my best foot forward. But I think the big thing that I took away from that fight was that things don't try to reinvent the wheel. The things that worked, they work. And so it's like, let's hold on to that foundation because things really locked in the way they needed to be. Um, and it's let your hands go. I really I don't know. I did so many beautiful things. Like I went back and I've watched the fight a couple times. The footwork going backward, like fighting backwards, that footwork, maintaining distance, maintaining range, changing up your punches, level changing, tempo changing. The feints are so key. And I'm really like, when you talk about beautiful boxing, I have all these tools and being able to put them together. and also realizing that you can hold the ring. I think that was a really big piece was that I've been kind of solidifying in my mind was like I can hold the ring and hold, and take charge of that. You can dictate, I can dictate where I want you to go. I can hold the center if I choose to. And, really having this awareness and ring generalship that is starting to refine. I was really pleased. It's very rare for me to come out of the ring and it's like, yeah, I broke my hand and I'm upset that it happened. And it sucks, but man, am I strong. But I think I would have been depressed if I didn't have the performance that I did. And that was what was really important to me was, belts are cool, rankings are cool, yada, yada. I want good progressive fights and I want to, like I said, dismantle those people and I want to perform on a high level. And that's the win for me because it's undeniable, right?
Yeah.
You can't, what you've seen is the truth. You can talk and blah, 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 but let the performance speak for itself and everything kind of carries after that.
Now, some of that, not some of it, but everything is about preparation, and sparring is a big part of that. Now, I've heard that you've shared the ring with some world class fighters in the past. One of them being Alicia Baumgartner, if I'm
Yeah,
not mistaken.
yeah, for
Um,
sure.
what when you have those moments, what is it mostly that you want to get out of it? Because there's some folks that go into those opportunities and they want to show up the next person. But you specifically, what is it that you're trying to get out when you get those opportunities to be in with a Alicia Baumgartner or anyone else that you've been in the ring with?
Yeah, at least it's crazy. She and I actually fought in the amateurs and so it's nuts. Like one of the first times that we sparred when she had turned after she had turned pro. And she like said it to me. She was like, "Man, I haven't seen you since we fought in the Olympic trials qualifier." And she's like, you beat me." I was like, "Damn, she's been holding on to that for a second." But and she and have become like very close. It's she's real, and it's I think that that's rare. And I do appreciate it's like every time she changes her cell phone number, she always sends me a text and she's like, "Hey, lock me in," and it's I appreciate the sisterhood. But, the thing is that we each have something, right? Like we each, even even in the pros or the amateur side, when you're going to world championships and you're fighting these athletes who have won world medals already, they have something and they have strengths and they have weaknesses. You already pretty much know what their strengths are. Can you pick up what their weakness is? Some people have a hard time going to the right. Some people have a hard time going to the left. Some people can't throw their left or their right or a hook or something. It's like, I think that trying to be really intelligent in there. And then at the same time, it's like, yes, you win or lose a sparring round. I mean, you want to look good, but it's like, can you work on things that you feel vulnerable doing? Can you slip to the inside? Off of a jab, slip to the inside and throw an uppercut? Can you throw a body shot, slip to the outside of a rear hand? And it's can you pull these off on these athletes? You can pull them off on fighters or athletes that you spar that are not at your level. But these are the moments that you really take to be able to kind of step it up. And like with Alicia, she's strong as hell, right? And you know that she has these big punches. So it's like you got to have good footwork. You got to be able to, you start getting to that level, like, the Beatrice Fiera's and, Alicia Baumgartner's. And it's like, well, they should have good ring intelligence. Their IQ should be real high. So it becomes a chess match. Like, well, I've sparred Katie Taylor multiple times, and that's actually my favorite rounds is Katie Taylor because she's so damn smart. So our minds, you can see in our eyes like how quickly we're trying to think because we have to outsmart that person. And I think that's the really big pieces of taking away is like, you get into the first rounds, you're like, you have those feel out moments, you're trying to figure out exactly, you're trying to move each other left or right, figure out where those strengths and weaknesses are, and then you start playing the chess piece with the IQ piece, and that's really where I think you start to level up, because everything has to start happening, boom, 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 you perceive, recognize, you execute, and it's got to happen instantly. You don't have time to sit there and look at somebody or throw a shot and pause for a second because that's when they're going to catch you. is those moments in between. So I would say that, every day is a day in school and you're just trying to up your IQ.
Okay. All right. And then in your last fight, you called out Stephanie Hahn, right?
Yeah,
She has her rematch with Holly Holm coming up. Do you want to fight her regardless, or would you take the winner?
I would take the winner. I would fight her regardless. I think it would make a hell of a fight. I think, yeah, I don't know. I actually have never thought about that. I anticipate her beating Holly, and I think that she should. I haven't been, and this is actually like I have so much respect for Holly Holm, right? Like she is a pillar of a foundation pillar for women's boxing, and she was around, and then she moved into MMA and she moved the sport. Um, it's hard to be spread thin. It's hard to jump back up into an elite level, into a discipline that demands sacrifice, you know? And when you've spread yourself and you're working on other skills that don't translate to boxing, boxing is a very selfish sport. It demands everything of you. I think that that's a hard ask, and I think she's a phenomenal athlete, but I do feel like I don't know. It's just from what I've seen from her last two fights. I'm like, I just feel that Stephanie just has a little bit more. She has a little bit more speed. She has a little bit, sometimes your aggression works against you, right? And Holly's very physical. And if you're really, I mean, you look at Shakur Stevenson, like you can't, he's a matador. The bull can't rush the matador. You're not going to catch him. So, and that's what I see. Um, would love to fight Holly for the belt. I mean, not Holly. I would love to fight Stephanie for the belt. Ideally, right? Like we got our ideal situations. That's what I want. But eventually, like I think that she and I will end up seeing each other, and I just know that it's going to make a fantastic fight. And I mean, there's definitely others on the way up, but there's been so much talk about that, and yeah, that's probably it's one of the next ones on the list for sure. That is one of the big goals. So as we move up and along down the line.
Gotcha. All right. And then finally, the last question. What's the next step for you if you can't secure the fight with Han or the winner? Like what's next for you? Do you wait around to see if you can get that, or do you get a fight in between? What would you like to do?
Yeah. Somebody had said it, I got injured, right? I broke my hand, and there's a lot of people like, oh no, like that's so terrible. But if you look at the way the fights right now, they're already set for like the next 3 to 4 months. I mean, realistically, look at all the fight. Everybody's they're scooped up right now. And we've got fights all the way through May and June that are already lined up. And when somebody's coming out of fight in May, they're not going to fight in June.
Correct.
So if the injury was going to happen, it was a great time for it to happen because I'm still in shape. I'm still literally did repeat miles yesterday. I did the incline a couple days before I left. It's like I'm always training. I train when I'm on the road, and it's a lifestyle. It's not a hobby for me. This is who I am. I've been doing it for, hell, like 3 Olympic cycles, almost 15 years of my life. So plus, I've been fighting since I was 7. So it's I would say that progressive fights, I want to keep picking away. We're always looking ahead. If the opportunity presents itself with the title shot, cool. We're going to be ready because I'm not waiting around, because I'm going to be ready. And then again, we're undeniable, undeniable. That's the goal. I'm going to keep asking for fights that are going to help keep bringing me into the conversation that people can't be like, oh well, she doesn't have enough money behind her name. Oh well, she hasn't had enough fights. Oh well, she doesn't have a belt. You keep picking away at those things so that they're no longer in the conversation and you are fully in the conversation. So yeah, not waiting around for anything. We're already looking at kind of like creating a list of people that we'd like to that may potentially want to take the fight, that we would like to fight, that are progressive, that are going to move my ranking, that are going to, again, to not to repeat it 1,000 times, that are progressive, that are going to increase my skill level and like validate, validity in the ring. I don't, I really, I'm in that place where it always like is bizarre to me when you see people's records and they look down their box rec And mind you, it's hard, right? There's not as many women as there are men. It's growing. We have so many beautiful JOs coming up, moving into the elites who are going to turn pro soon, probably after the 28 games. Like the sport is growing from exponentially. But I hate when I see on the female side when they're fighting people over and over again who have losing records that are just deeply entrenched, and you know that this person they're in it for a check and it's a stepping stone. What is that athlete learning? Or they're I realize that there's times where it's like maybe you do have to go, or you see a lot of TJ fights, you see a lot of paid Mexico fights that and I mean that by no disrespect it to those that are stepping in the ring in those fights. You have to, if this is a way to make money, amazing. But for the athletes who are trying to make a name for yourself, shame on you. You're a fraud, like straight up. You're a freaking fraud. And that's part of the dirty side of boxing, is padding a record. And there are enough athletes here. I've had, we've reached out to people before, and the females, I love when they're like, man, I'll take any fight, I'll do yada yada. No, you won't. No, you won't. Because you don't believe in yourself, because you haven't put the work in, because you get a $3,000 check, because we all know women aren't making shit. You make $4,000, $3,000, and you think you're a big baller? Congratulations, you're not. And, like, I mean, let's be honest. And then you go and drink and you gain a bunch of weight and you don't walk the talk and then you don't want to fight me. And that's crazy. And it's just like, oh, well, she has a really big amateur background. Well, you would have too if you followed through, but you don't follow through. So now you don't want to fight and you don't want to move up. You want to be a big fish in a small pond. And I feel that way in every aspect of what I do. I want to be intelligent and I want to be curious and ingrained and in deep into whatever the things that I'm doing. As an EMT, I went to a psych meeting last night with a guy who, I mean, my gosh, what a conversation. But it's like I didn't have to go. I didn't get paid to go. I didn't, it was just kind of like literally got off a plane and was like, I'm gonna go listen to this person because there's knowledge to be gained. And so you have to find these aspects and people just they don't want to. And so yeah, long-winded. I swear I'm not a politician. I'll answer the question. But I mean, yeah, it's just we're still, we're constantly looking at what's next, and to stay active, but in a way, and active not just on paper, but active in a way that's going to help me continue to grow. And to do it in a way that's smart, and not smart to protect me, but smart that's going to build me and grow me so that a lot of times they're like, oh, that person should have took that world title fight. They got that opportunity. It's not going to come up again. I hate that conversation. Oh, I don't know if the camera just turned off, but I hate that conversation because are we building athletes to take an opportunity, or are we building athletes to hold on to it? And that's another piece of it. And it really is very unfortunate when people have opportunities and they kind of are holding on to the opportunity and they're dangling like and that's how they go after their opponents, and I don't want that. So
Yeah.
let's
And
all make money together.
and just to add to that, in closing, early fall, is that what you're looking at?
Probably
Late summer?
August.
Late
Yeah,
summer?
probably late summer. Yeah, I mean um honestly, like the surgery went amazing and it was the best case scenario. Like it could have gone one of two ways. One way would have been a 6-month recovery. The other way would have been 6 to 10 weeks where I start impact training and start loading again. And so, 6 to 10 weeks, pretty average for bone healing and growth. So, we're already almost 2 weeks in, and in a month I get to start. I'm already in PT and rehab. I'm not going to atrophy, no muscle atrophy, and I'm gonna start doing a lot of loading, and like probably 4 weeks, I get another X-ray here pretty soon, and it's let's not rush things. Let's do it so that things heal correctly. But honestly, like I could is as long as I can fully load that and then get the rounds that I need to in sparring, even if I'm staying active in the gym and keeping all my, everything together. Sparring's very important. It keeps your mind sharp. And it's like we can get those rounds. I mean, heck, like end of July, August, I think August is a good it's pushing it without pushing it. And there's that safety net of being like, okay, well, we gave ourselves the space to heal and spar. So I would say August is the best bet.
All right. Well, listen, Amelia, thank you for your time today, and I wish you the best of luck on your recovery and
Thank
on
you.
your future fights, and with everything you do.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me
All right.
on, man. It's
Thank
been a
you.
pleasure. Short, sweet, we hit it all.